She knocked on my door at midnight. I shouldn't have opened it. The moment I heard the knock, I was already uneasy. There's something about a knock at that hour that carries a weight, a presence. It's not the kind of sound you expect when the world is supposed to be asleep, and when it does come, it doesn't just reach your ears. It crawls under your skin. I had been lying on the couch, half asleep, the glow of the television flickering across the empty room. My phone was charging on the kitchen counter, and the only other sound was the low hum of the refrigerator. Then the knock came. 3 soft taps. Not rushed, not panicked, almost polite. That's what disturbed me the most. They weren't desperate. They were deliberate. I froze. My first thought wasn't fear. It was confusion. Who would be out at this time? Why my door? I live alone. I don't have many friends, and certainly none who would show up unannounced at midnight. For a few moments, I didn't move. I just listened, hoping I had imagined it, that maybe it was a sound from the TV, some trick of the audio. But then it came again. 3 knocks. Exactly the same rhythm. I rose slowly, hesitating before I walked to the door. I didn't turn on the porch light. I didn't call out. I didn't even look through the peephole. I just stood there, heart pounding. My breath felt caught between my chest and throat, shallow and erratic. I should have left it. I should have turned around, gone back to the couch, and waited. But something pulled at me. That curiosity we all have. That human urge to know. And in that moment, it was louder than caution. I unlocked the deadbolt and turned the knob. She stood there, shivering. She looked young, early 20s maybe. Pale. Wet from the rain I hadn't noticed had begun to fall. Her hair clung to her face, and her clothes, though simple, a hoodie, jeans, were soaked through. Her eyes were wide, glassy, almost vacant, but not in a drugged way. More like she had seen something she couldn't unsee. "Please," she whispered, her voice so soft I almost didn't hear it. "I need help." And just like that, my instincts, my caution, every warning bell that had started to ring, they all dulled under the weight of her voice. She didn't look dangerous. She looked broken. I opened the door wider and stepped aside. She hesitated, then entered, leaving a trail of water on the hardwood floor. I closed the door behind her and turned to look at her again. She was staring at a picture frame on my wall. A photo of my sister and me when we were kids. Her lips trembled. "Are you okay?" I asked gently. She nodded slowly, then looked at me with eyes that didn't match the rest of her. Eyes that looked too old for her face. Like they'd seen more than they were supposed to. "I didn't know where else to go," she said. I offered her a towel. She took it wordlessly, patting her hair and arms. I asked if she wanted tea, something warm. She nodded again. As I moved to the kitchen to boil water, I tried to gather myself. I wanted to believe she was just a lost girl, caught in the rain, running from something explainable, an abusive boyfriend, a fight with her parents, a car that broke down. I wanted this to be a normal act of kindness, something I could sleep soundly after. When I returned with a mug, she was sitting on the couch, staring at the TV that had gone silent. The light flickered on her face, making her features dance with shadow. She took the tea with both hands and sipped carefully. I sat across from her, watching, waiting. "You're kind," she said suddenly. I didn't know how to respond. Most people wouldn't open the door. "I almost didn't," I admitted. She smiled at that, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I wouldn't have blamed you." Silence fell again. Long, uncomfortable. But there was something beneath it, something straining to come out. I wanted to ask questions. Who was she? What had happened? But something told me to wait, to let her speak when she was ready. And she did. She told me her name was Lila. She had grown up not far from where I lived, but she hadn't been home in years. She said she had come back because something had called her. That word stuck with me, called. I asked what she meant, and her answer chilled me more than the night air. "I've been dreaming of this place," she said. "Not your house exactly, but this street. Over and over. Every night for months. I didn't even remember growing up near here until I saw it on a map. I just knew I had to come." Her hands trembled slightly as she held the tea. "And when I got here," she continued, "I felt it stronger. Something pulling me. I didn't know where to go. Then I saw your light on. I swallowed. The TV. If I hadn't been up watching that movie, if I had gone to bed an hour earlier, what do you think is pulling you? I asked cautiously. She didn't answer at first. Her eyes flicked toward the hallway that led to the bedrooms. Do you believe in ghosts? She asked. I laughed softly, trying to lighten the mood. I believe in strange things. I've seen enough of the world to know there's more than we understand. She nodded like she appreciated that. But then her voice dropped, almost too low to hear. I think something followed me. I felt a knot form in my chest. She said it had started before she even left the city she had been living in. Shadows that didn't behave like shadows. Whispers in empty rooms. Reflections in mirrors that didn't match her movements. She thought she was going crazy at first. Went to doctors. Therapists. But the dreams never stopped. The feeling never stopped. Something wanted her to return. I asked what exactly she thought had followed her, and she paused, like she wasn't sure she wanted to say it out loud. It wears faces, she whispered. I stared. Faces? I repeated. She nodded. It never looks the same twice. It learns. It copies. People I knew, people I loved. I'd see them, but they weren't right. Their smiles would be too wide. Their eyes too still. And when I'd ask them things only the real person would know, it would just stare. Like it was learning. I felt the hair on the back of my neck rise. I used to think I could hide from it, she said. But it always finds me. Every time I let someone get close, it gets stronger. She looked up at me then. And now I've brought it here. My mouth went dry. You mean it's here? In this house? She didn't nod. She didn't shake her head either. She just stared at me with eyes that looked hollow, as if she were already mourning me. I didn't want to come in, she said. But I was so tired. I thought maybe, just maybe, it wouldn't follow me if someone else was there. But it never stops. It never sleeps. At that moment, the lights flickered. We both froze. I told myself it was the storm, the rain tapping harder against the windows. But I knew better. I didn't want to admit it, but something in the air had shifted. The kind of change you feel in your bones before your brain catches up. And then the knocking came again. But not from the door. From inside. A knock, gentle and patient, came from the hallway. The one that led to the bedrooms. Where no one else should be. My blood turned to ice. Lila was trembling, her mug clutched tightly in her hands. She didn't look surprised. Only devastated. I told you, she whispered. It wears faces. I stood slowly. My body didn't feel like mine. My legs moved like they were wading through water. Every step toward the hallway felt like a choice I would never be able to undo. I didn't want to go. But I had to. I reached the corner of the hallway and stopped. The knock came again, from the guest room this time. I reached for the doorknob. Lila screamed. Don't open it. I spun around, heart thundering, but she wasn't looking at me. She was looking at the front door. Eyes wide. Face pale. I turned again. And now, standing in the hallway, was a little girl. She couldn't have been older than 10. Her hair was braided. Her dress was simple white. Her eyes were too knowing, too calm. And they were fixed on me. She smiled. It was a grotesque thing, too slow, too wide. Then she spoke. Why did you open the door? I stepped back. Lila was crying now. Not just tears, but sobs.
Gut-wrenching, helpless sobs.
I tried to warn you, she cried. I tried. The girl, thing, began walking toward me, each step making the air colder. The lights flickered again, and the room tilted, like the house was breathing. I ran. I grabbed Lila's hand and ran to the door, but it wouldn't open. The locks, simple seconds before, wouldn't budge. The knob turned endlessly, but the door stayed shut. Lila pounded on it, screaming, but the walls just absorbed the sound. Behind us, footsteps. Not heavy, not fast, just steady, coming closer. I turned and there were now 2 figures. The little girl and, behind her, my sister. But my sister has been dead for 4 years. Stop it, I begged. This isn't real. This isn't real. But my sister's voice, her voice, was exactly as I remembered it. You let us in, she said. I don't know how long it went on. I don't know what I saw or what I said. There were more figures, more faces. People I knew, people I didn't. They walked through my house like it belonged to them. The air was thick, like syrup, every breath a struggle. Lila collapsed at one point, just dropped to the floor. I dragged her to the bedroom, locked the door, and curled up beside her, both of us shivering under the bed. The knocking never stopped. It moved from room to room.
Soft.
Patient. Persistent. And when morning came, they were gone.
Just like that.
Sunlight poured through the windows, warm and golden. The house looked normal. Too normal. Like nothing had happened. But Lila was gone. No trace. No wet footprints. No mug on the table. No signs she had ever been there. And yet the towel she used was still damp. I sat on the floor for hours, trying to make sense of it. But I couldn't. I never could. That night changed me. And even now, years later, sometimes when it's late, when the world is quiet, I hear the knock. And I remember her voice. I shouldn't have come. But I did open the door. And some doors, once opened, never really close.